The threat of an outbreak of Ebola virus disease locally remains a real possibility, despite the fact that there have been no cases of the deadly strain diagnosed in Belize so far. The risk is primarily centered around the travel industry, where scheduled flights depart from and arrive at the Philip Golson International Airport daily. A majority of those trips are bound for the United States, either as the final destination or to connecting flights elsewhere. The U.S., being the hub of the transnational air traffic for Belize, poses a degree of concern, particularly since an American Airlines flight commutes regularly between Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport and the PGIA. Dallas, as you may know, has recorded a third Ebola diagnosis. The identification succeeds a domestic flight from Ohio to the Texan city and is presently raising questions about the stateside effort to control the disease. While the likelihood of other passengers being infected with the disease was very low, the nurse who treated Liberian patient Thomas Eric Duncan, also diagnosed with Ebola in Dallas, should not have been on board the local flight. That is, according to Dr. Thomas Frieden, director of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The fact that 29-year-old Amber Vinson was exposed to the same virus which later killed Duncan and was allowed to travel interstate among 130 other passengers is now calling into question the handling of Duncan's case, as well as its outcome by both the Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital and the CDC. Here in Belize City, a press conference was held last Tuesday, where it was announced that an initiative will be led by the Ministry of Health and will also include the Immigration Department. This is in spite of serious concerns that the department is somewhat sluggish and a little too rigid when working with other agencies.
I met with Mr. Defoe from NEMO to say that, look, we have to look at Ebola as this potential threat to the country, and he coming from the organization that organizes and brings together all the people, I asked him that he used his office to ensure that when we call out immigration, that we have their person who will make the right decision at the table with us. In the past, we have gotten support, but at this point in time, we don't have the full support that I believe this one needs, but we're having some urgent meeting over the next 10 days with those stakeholders to get it.
In the Caribbean, the government of St. Lucia has implemented flight restrictions for countries that have recorded Ebola diagnoses. Prime Minister Kenny Anthony has advised the Commissioner of Police to immediately carry out an embargo on all visitors from Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. Meanwhile, in Jamaica, an integrated national coordinating team led by the Ministry of Health and the Jamaica Defense Force has been organized to spearhead the country's heightened preparations in the event of an outbreak. Dr. Michael Pitts, Director of Health Services, agrees that there needs to be a similar multi-agency approach taken in Belize.
I agree with you that there needs to be a multi-agency response, and in fact that is what, through the, I maybe use the terms I haven't developed it, but when we look at international health core capacity, it speaks to multi-agency, and this is what Mr. Bowden helps to coordinate, where you bring together customs, immigration, civil aviation, tourism, which is the other one? The ports agent, the shipping agent, all of those people together in one forum to identify their different activities. In fact, over time, we have been doing that to assess those core capacity and look at where the weaknesses and where the strengths are.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isanika.